Hello Internet, and welcome to part 2 of the Utopia project. In the previous video I showed you the mechanics of how this village was going to work, and I've now finished building it, so I just want to show you around. So let's just dive right in. So let's just run through the mechanics that are going on here again. First of all, the valid doors. I put 32 doors in this village. I'll show you a couple of them. Obviously there's 4 of them here. I've also hidden a few away in places like this sort of lighthousey pillar. As you can see, there is a door on the inside. I've also hidden some of them away in other features. For example, there's a fountain over here that, it's not the best fountain design. I'm not sure if this is supposed to represent some kind of tap. I don't know. In any case, there is a door here in the middle. Let's see if we can get in. There it is. And I've also hidden away a couple of doors in here. They're pretty much everywhere. I've even buried some underground that we can have a look at. But when you do this in your own village, maybe be careful because, as you can see, here we go, there's some doors down here. When you bury doors in the ground, make sure that they do still count as valid doors and that you don't cover them up too much. For example, here we have a few blocks that actually have sky access that make these doors valid. If you bury them too deep, that will not be true and they will not count as a valid house. You might also recall that balancing the doors is very important in terms of making sure that you know where the center of the village is. So what I've done here, this is the golem trap, and this will be the center of the village. And you can see there's 2 doors over here that are the front doors of this little house. And on the other side, to just illustrate, here are the 2 doors that are the front door of this golem trap building. And for example, these 4 doors are matched on the other side by 4 doors that are hidden inside of that stairwell that we just had a look at. Like they are, all 4 of them, hidden in here. So that's how I managed to balance the village. Now let's go into the golem farm. We have the doors obviously to match it, and you also needed 10 villagers to get this to work. And what I discovered in the process of doing this is that actually means you need 10 villagers within the population cap box. Because I thought that it was just going to be 10 villagers overall in the village, like in the sphere of the village. But it turns out when I had 9 villagers up here, that actually no golems were spawning, and when I added a 10th, suddenly they did. So that's why random dude is hanging out here for now, just to make sure that there's 10. So you can see I've got a couple of villagers here to trade. These are also keeping all the doors active. I try to lock them in a sort of themed setting. This is supposed to represent a kitchen. Don't judge my architecture. So yeah, the golems are spawning inside of this area and then falling to their fiery doom. At least I thought they would, until I found this. I am still not entirely sure where that golem came from. I just heard its footsteps and I thought, where are you coming from? I suspect that maybe he spawned like right on the edge and wandered in, because I haven't had any other golems do that. I've had many golems die in this trap, and none of them except that one have spawned outside. I double checked all the doors, I couldn't find any issues, so I'm just gonna chalk it up as a freak accident and hope it doesn't happen again. And then for the population cap and the breeding, the plan is to have 10 villagers inside of the breeding zone, if you remember, sort of the breeding box. That's so 1 in here. There's 1 over there in that house. I'm not going to show you all of them, but just to give you an impression, there's a few everywhere. Here's 1 actually farming some potatoes for me. Hi! You farming my potatoes? So there's 10 villagers total in the flat breeding box. That means that there's space for 1 more because, as I said, I have 32 doors. That means they would breed up to 11 villagers, and since there are 10 right now, they will actually breed if I make them do that. There's a couple of villagers that I'm keeping outside of the breeding box. There is one up here, kept in a cage in the tower. There's another spot for an extra librarian in the library that I haven't actually bred yet. And then the majority of the extra villagers I keep in the basement. So let's have a look over there. So that's 10 within the breeding box, 12 above, and if you recall, we can only go up to 19 villagers total before we will get zombie sieges. So that means there's space for 7 more in the basement. I'm planning to make a nice sort of a breeding shop for them, but I haven't done it yet. So at the moment they're just sitting around in minecarts over here. Exactly 7 of them right now. So if I want to breed more, I would have to kill some, or otherwise I would get zombie sieges. So I really enjoyed doing this project. I think it turned out pretty good. Everything works. It looks pretty cute. Unfortunately, 1.14 is about to come out and it's gonna mess with villager mechanics big time. So I don't think this is gonna be useful for much longer. When that time rolls around, I probably will adjust the village to still be a functional breeding, farming, golem spawning contraption, and maybe I'll make a video about that. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.